Questions time. All right, ladies and gentlemen. If you can even answer this without getting way too much, why run a Kree Reaper instead of Kree May in a standard rush comp? Because you have a bad May. If you are unconfident in your ability to play the May comp, you can play Kree Reaper instead. And Kree Reaper basically has more options against other comps. So like, if the enemy team is playing like spam or something like that, then theoretically you could TP my Reaper, maybe pressure a tank or something like that, which would on paper would do more than May. But the real reason why you run Kree Reaper is just because it's just very simple. It's the same reason why we saw some teams running Reaper Torb instead of Reaper May or Kree May, because all you do is you just rush forward and you shoot shields. If the enemy team is running a Brawl comp and they don't get a good May wall, you shoot shields and you win. It loses to good May comps, or a team that has a good May, because May wall outvalues, and May wall and freeze outvalues Reaper or McCree and whatever one you run with, but it is significantly easier to play. You just shoot shields. Onak time code. Why is he positioned this side on the other side of the span place? Okay. You'll see. Because he's playing an Orisa Rhine comp. This is a hard brawl composition. Basically, everybody's clumped. They're running Orisa Rhine May Torb, so everybody's clumped up and everybody's going to run into the middle of the enemy team. If he were to play by himself all the way on the opposite side of the map, you can see they have a Tracer. The Tracer would solo contest him, and then his entire team would get no healing. And I assume they're playing with a Lucio. Yeah, they're playing with a Lucio. The Lucio would have to go all the way across the map to peel his Ana, and his tank line would get screwed. So you play this like a brawl comp. Everybody's clumped up and rushes in all really, really fast. That's why he's positioned over here. Now, if this was like Orisa Diva, Orisa Sig, maybe this was with a Zen instead of a Lucio, or maybe like a Hanzo instead of a Torb, yes, he would be over here. But because they're playing full brawl, he's positioned on top of his team. Brigson is really strong because Brig play has improved significantly. Since the Brig rework, a lot of players, main support players, were just bad at Brig. They didn't know how to play her differently. Like, they didn't understand how important it was to proc Inspire, how to use your whip shot better, how to position more aggressively, yet not feed, how Shield Bash was not really a brawl tool, as much of it as like an escape cooldown. But if you play disciplined with a coordinated environment, your Brig is good in proccing Inspire, and you use your armor packs to pocket either your Echo or Tracer, Brigson is monstrously strong support line right now. Well, but you're perfect at proccing Inspire in the Goats meta, and you also have to remember that main support players were not playing Brig. They were DPS players playing Brig in Goats. Okay, as main tank, what do I do if a team keeps getting picked before fights? I mean, nothing you can do. If it's before the fight, legitimately nothing you can do. I mean, one thing there's potential is that you're taking too long to get the fight started. So maybe you're super passive, and then your team is like there, and you're just kind of sitting around. So that's one potential. Do I get 1-5-6, wait for the pick before committing an ultimate? I mean, you can go in 5v6. Fight, like, depending on your rank, if it's like plat or below, yeah, 5v6 is fine. If it's diamond or above, then your team is not getting picked before every single team fight. You're just bad. But if it's plat and below, it's reasonable to assume that teams aren't very good at regrouping. What if another person is picked and it's 4v6 and I assume we just die and get out and regroup at the point, but it feels like a huge waste of time to go out the game and regroup? It doesn't happen. Well, if it's a 4v6, generally the fight's lost, so you should probably just go ahead and reset. It feels like a huge waste of time, but it is what it is. But if your team keeps getting picked, there's nothing you can do outside of be a better main tank and make your engagements faster and quicker. Tank player, what should I do and how should I play when a team picks Hog? Tons of people in Slack can really struggle with these and what tank player to pick him. Orisa's fine, Sigma's fine, Reinhardt's okay. I mean, Hog just wants to kind of play on an angle, so you just play it normally, just understand that you're not going to, like, Hog is basically another DPS, so when you're playing Hog, you are legitimately playing solo tank. You're not going to get any peel, any help, anything. You're not going to get Matrix or Bubble or Shields or anything. You're playing with another DPS who's stupid and slow. So you just need to play very disciplined, very tight, and make as few mistakes as possible. I understand the frustration because Hog is an awful hero right now. It has been for some time. As Rhino, I need to be actively checking on McCree cooldowns. I mean, it helps, yeah. I mean, it depends on the SR. Like, I wouldn't put priority over, like, your positioning and stuff until you hit, like, Diamond Masters. It's because I was trying to push him in the team and I get stunned and burst on you. If you're getting started bursted and automated, you probably need to do a better job of tracking your HP. And also, you should not just be swing. It should be swing. Check your HP, check the cooldown, swing. Check the HP, check the cooldown, swing. And then when you get low, then you can shield. Yeah, just don't swing 75 million times in a row without being aware that, hey, I might get flashbang or naded here, or I might get burst down and killed. So just give a couple swings, check your HP. If you got 400 plus HP, keep swinging. 300 plus HP, maybe shield for a second, get healed again, then go in again. That like even just that natural ability of watching your HP before you swing will make your pattern of swinging harder to predict as an Ana or a McCree. Yeah. What's going on with the tier 2 scene? How dire is it? It's not dire, but it's not great. It's teams. COVID is really screwing over less than super successful teams. So Overwatch League teams are struggling as well, but because Overwatch League teams are much better supported, they're doing okay. It's not just the tier 2 scene as a whole, it's just like the semi-professional scene. Like, go think about this. I'm sure wherever you live, there are a lot of small businesses that are not doing very well right now, right? Why? Because they're small businesses and they don't make a lot of money. They don't have a lot of, maybe they have a decent amount of overhead costs, but like they rely on month-to-month bills or whatever like that. So as soon as those are shut down, they don't have loans, they don't have income or profit to fall back on. Usually they're just run by small families and small organizations. So when you're a tier 2 scene, whether you're a tier 2 organization like Revival or Triumph maybe, that's relying on sponsorships, or even if you're an academy team, which is more of like a nice little thing that the Overwatch League team has a benefit from. Overwatch League team doesn't need an academy team. It's just a nice little bonus. So when things are tight and things are doing poorly and cuts are having to be made, academy teams are going to be one of the first things to go. So it's not just the tier 2s. The academy scene is really mostly related to COVID. The tier 2 scene is due to various problems with Blizzard being uptight with third-party sponsorship, which means there's a lot less money in tier 2 than there should be. It has nothing to do with prize pool. It's the third-party sponsorship. The hero bans and stuff are a mess when it comes to scrimming, and the tournament format is poor. It did not work out well. If you end up getting unlucky with your first game and you're pitted up against somebody really good, you're done for 2 weeks. You're either playing like 7-8 officials in a couple weeks, or you're playing 1, and that's too much of a discrepancy. Also, like I said, there's a lot of washed tier 2 players that are retiring, and that's just going to happen. Every 6 months, another group of 5, 6, 7, 8 players. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe they're retiring. They're amazing. That's going to happen. That's just how sports works. There's going to be players that people think are amazing, or that just don't have the love for the game, or they're just washed. As on if someone starts hacking me out of the so I relatively sleep with her nade. How much she's close to? Probably more consistent than nade. If she's close enough, I would nade. So if you can hit her and you. Even honestly, nade is just the more consistent one, but depends on how good you are. If you're confident that you can decently land sleeps every now and then that's worth it. But you have to scare the Sombra with sleep. If the Sombra doesn't respect your sleeps because you never hit them, then you're gonna need a nade. Like at the top level, throwing you asleep is super scary because Anas are actually good at sleeping. So like you have to respect the sleep, but and the lower levels, maybe you need to. I mean, honestly, if you want to practice just using your sleep, it wouldn't be bad. But if you're actively asking me what's the best outcome, I would say probably nade, more consistent. How compartmentalized can team compositions play? For example, when you have crossfire comes to pharmacy, you have pharmacy, you're not playing the main comp. But I heard you theory play a half dive with say far above. I understand the band, yeah, that's fine. Like generally compositions become a thing, like compositional compartmentalization becomes a thing because some heroes just work really well together, right? Like pharmacy is pretty compartmentalized. You don't really see Pharah without Mercy because those heroes just work amazingly well together. It's really hard to work Pharah without a Mercy. But finding ways to be creative with comps can definitely work, and sometimes you'll find combinations that people never really thought about working, and they actively work, like case in this point, Clockwork and Vendetta, Goats, the Brig Zen support backline that people thought would be bad actually works out really well. So as long as you think about what are these heroes' strengths and you play to those strengths, you can make anything work. It's just some things on paper work better than others, which 99% of the time means some comps that you think might be able to work are not going to work, but every now and then maybe you find like that amazing combo that nobody has thought of. I'd probably position a Sombra against Doomfist and Wrecking Ball. Too far, and I feel like I'll be getting the hacks when they dive in. Too close, you get risking damage or kills. Should you sit in your I mean, you just basically answer your own question. Just don't get damaged. Like close enough to where you can off angle a little bit, or close enough where you can hack them, but not on top of them so you get your stuff canceled. I mean, you know the answer to this question. So, this is nothing new. How do teams decide on what's the meta at high tiers? Like what composition? Okay, well, here we saw Arista Sigma by we've seen a vast amount of dive compositions. Well, yeah, because you can't play hard bunker with Echo. Echo might synergize with dive, but they decided they didn't want to play the Sigma anymore. They could see Arista comps personally. Well, because like Echo does, at least at the top tiers, Echo dive comps are just gonna poop all over Arista Sigma because Echo just off angles in a million miles away, and there's nothing you can do about it. So teams decide what's the meta when you go into scrims and you try to play Arista Sigma into Echo, and it goes very poorly again and again and again. And because you only have so much time to practice and test, you can't theory craft that maybe Arista Sigma is fine into Echo, we just need to practice it for a little while longer. Because if it doesn't work in the first day or two, then you have 3 days to practice that comp. And so if it doesn't work the first day or two, you can't afford to gamble and think that, oh, I think Arista Sigma is fine to Echo, we just need to be better at it. Because you only have like 4 or 5 days to practice. And in contenders, it's even worse. You only have 3 days to practice. So usually the first day of hero bans or patch changes, you get a couple days to practice at most, and then you have to hard lock what your read on the meta is going to be. And usually because teams are playing each other, they get a similar read of the meta. Doesn't always mean the same, but a similar read. Clockwork Vendetta was a Torb May Orisa Hog comp that was crushing goats in Tier 2 Europe. Okay. Could we do my Tracer VOD and help me get better? I wish, but I just did your Tracer VOD literally last week. So no. Should I shoot tanks as Tracer? If so, when and how? Sure. I think it's less important who you're shooting. It's more important with Tracer where you're shooting from. You should always be angled as Tracer, either behind or on an angle from the enemy team to bait attention to yourself. You're not a very brawly hero. You don't do a lot of tank shield damage, excuse me. So you need to be able to be the annoying gnat, constantly surviving, constantly playing backline or off angle, drawing as much attention to yourself as possible. So again, if you shoot tanks because that's what's close, that's fine. If you shoot Ana Zen because that's what's close, fine. I think generally you want to shoot backline if they're running something very squishy, but if they're running like a Moira or a Lucio or maybe a McCree or a Brig, there's nothing wrong with shooting tanks. Just depends on the situation. How? Because this is, people realize that if you played how it was basically May. Because Torb, Orisa, Hog, Ana, Zen, whatever else they played it with, I don't remember the exact comp, had so much spam that if you slow down goats just a little bit, you could kill tanks, right? And so what happened is when you run it with May, you were able to split goats in half and slow down the goats rush just long enough for you to be able to butcher the front line. This is why when I was coaching phase 2, thanks to my very, very intelligent strategic coach Cyphate, we were crushing goats with a similar comp, which was Orisa, Reaper, Torb, May. Again, what's the composition? Double shotgun Maywall. You split off the Reinhardt Zarya and you blast it. And that's it. You're welcome for the answer. The reason Clockwork Vendetta and Reaper, Torb, May and all these comps existed, it wasn't because of Reaper. It was because of May. It was because May was coming into her own with span comps because she could slow down the rush comps and allow her team to shoot down the tanks. Doulos, if I play mainly tanks, but I say I want to climb this 150 SR in these last half days, don't assign arbitrary numbers. Say I want to improve at this, and then I mean, okay, whatever. I would probably play Orisa. I mean, Orisa's so flippin' easy to get value out of. Orisa's a tough main tank to master, but she's just easier to play. So, I mean, if you want to climb 150 SR playing a hero that you're miserable at, whatever. I don't really think this is the right mindset, but I'll answer it. Yeah, you're welcome.